2018 World Champion, Miss Caitlin Osmond.
And that's the homecoming Caitlin Osmond received last night at the St. John's International Airport. Since she last touched down on home soil, she has won a team gold medal and an individual bronze medal at the Olympics. And just weeks ago, she became the women's world figure skating champion. And that makes her star appeal dazzling even more.
I love Caitlin Osmond. She's really good skating.
This morning, the celebration continued at the Confederation Building. Fans and politicians, of course, showed up in droves. Osmond seemed quite touched by the outpouring of support, and she said, "There's no place like home."
I joke around a lot with the rest of the Canadian figure skaters and other Canadian Olympians that I've met along the way, and they're always shocked when I show them pictures of the gatherings and the celebrations that we have coming home from the Olympics, and all of them say that their hometowns are never like this.
Premier Dwight Ball ensured that her achievements would be recognized for years to come.
As a province, we are extremely proud of you. And in recognition of your accomplishments, I'm very pleased to announce that we will be naming the Burin Peninsula Highway from Red Arbor to Marystown will now be known as Osmond Way.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Debbie Cooper, live at the Caitlin Osmond Arena here in Marystown, where the excitement is really building. Caitlin will be in town in a little while, and no people are more excited than these young people behind me. They are some of the members of the Ice Crystal Figure Skating Club. They're going through their final rehearsal for the big show tomorrow night, and Caitlin Osmond will be the featured skater there, so they want to get things right for her. And of course, Caitlin is the most decorated Olympian from this province. 3 medals, including 2 at this year's Winter Olympics in Seoul, South Korea. A bronze in women's singles and a group gold. To top off this season, Caitlin won the World Women's Figure Skating Championship last month, the first Canadian woman to win the Worlds in 45 years. Now she's returned to her roots, performing in some local skating shows, including in her hometown of Marystown. I met up with Caitlin at Confederation Building this morning. First of all, Caitlin, welcome home.
Thank you.
I watched you at the World's medal ceremony. You were standing there with the gold. You were singing the national anthem. I thought there was emotion there, but you were controlled. I had tears in my eyes. What was going through your mind at that moment?
It was really exciting to see a Canadian flag raised and to hear the national anthem in front of a crowd that wasn't even Canadian. We were in the middle of Italy, and everyone was standing for that anthem, and everyone was just equally as proud seeing a Canadian flag raised as they were if an Italy flag was raised. So it just felt so rewarding to be up there and to experience that. And I was very emotional, but I tend to laugh when I'm excited or any type of emotion. I always wanted to be one of the people who cry, and it just doesn't happen.
Well, speaking of laughing, you go on your victory lap and fall down. I think you told a commentator, it's my Bambi thing.
Ever since I was a little kid, before I even left Newfoundland to go train, my nickname was Bambi. I have long limbs and they always go everywhere, and for me to fall on carpet or on ice or doing the simplest of things is very, very normal for me. So when I realized I tripped on carpet on the ice, I just looked up and I was like, this would happen. I would win Worlds, and this would definitely happen.
Oh, you handled it so well. You have given all to your sport. You battled back from a serious leg injury. You told me you had considered quitting. I guess your decision not to quit looks pretty good now.
Definitely looking back, not quitting was one of the biggest things, but having that fear of thinking my career was done, I think has also brought me to this level. I needed that year of hitting rock bottom, of forcing myself not to train to try to heal any other injury that I had, and I needed to revisit my passion for skating and remember why I was still doing it and still performing. And in that process, I found my love of skating a lot more. I found what I needed to do to be able to get myself back up on top.
What was a day in the life of Caitlin Osmond like, battling from that injury to where you are today?
Initially, it just meant a lot of physio hours. Instead of skating 3 hours a day, I was at physio 3 hours a day, trying to get my, not just my foot stronger, more my confidence level of being able to push it, to do things that someone usually don't have to do when they come back from a broken leg. But then it led to this season and last season. I was training 3 hours a day on the ice and 2 hours a day off the ice, making sure I was still going to my physio every week, massage therapy, sports psychology, pretty much anything that you could add to a training schedule, I added.
All consuming.
Yes.
Now that this season is over, are you getting any time to relax?
Right away, not so much. I get to travel around. I was in Japan for 2 weeks following the World Championships for a Stars and Ice tour there. That's led straight into me being here and enjoying all the festivities around Newfoundland, and then that will lead straight into the Canadian Stars on Ice tour that I will be starting in Halifax and going to Vancouver. So it's a really busy spring season, but it's with tours and celebrations, and it's so much fun.
So I gather then you have to put off having a hamburger or pizza or something like that for a little longer?
I did treat myself after the Worlds. I may have had one too many burgers. But it does mean that I get to stay in shape during my off season, which makes coming back into training a little less stressful.
You are only 22. You've given your all to this sport. I'm just wondering, what other things do you want to achieve as an amateur skater?
I haven't actually had time to think about that yet. This season flew by so fast. So much focus was on the Olympics, and then once it was done, I had to refocus right away for Worlds. So it's been such a whirlwind, and still thinking that I've literally reached the top of the podium on a world stage is still a lot to comprehend for me. But I want to keep competing and seeing what else I can accomplish, see if I can make win more competitions, and also just challenge myself to see what else I can bring to the table.
Right now, you're back home in Newfoundland. You're going to skate in some shows tomorrow in the Caitlin Osmond Arena, where the dream began. I know a lot of young skaters are just looking forward to seeing you so much. What does it feel like to be such a role model for these young skaters?
As much as it feels like I am a role model to them, it's always so inspiring for me to come home, to remind myself where I started, to see all the little girls doing these shows and realizing I used to be one of them, and that is taking me as far as it has. I've gotten to travel the world, meet lifelong friends, compete with a Canadian flag on my back no matter where I was. And coming home, that's what I feel is, it's really settling and humbling to realize that I came from here and the dream started here.
It was so lovely to spend a little bit of time with Caitlin this morning at Confederation Building before the highway was named after her, and it shines through at how proud she is to be from here. And all of these people here at this rink are so proud of Caitlin Osmond. They can't wait to meet her tomorrow. And I'm going to speak with a few of these young skaters who are practicing for their big ice show tomorrow. That's coming up in just a little while. But back to you, Anthony, now with the day's news.
All right, thanks, Debbie, and we'll definitely be hearing more from Debbie a bit later tonight on Here and Now. Now, this morning at the Confederation Building, Liam Hickey, Paralympian in hockey and basketball, well, he was also recognized by Premier Dwight Ball for his simply outstanding athletic accomplishments.
Also, in recognition of Liam, the Holyrood Access Road, we've called that long enough. We're now going to rename that the Liam Hickey Drive.
If you want a spell for a great cause, come here to the Lantern tomorrow at 2 o'clock. It's the Terra Scrabble tournament to help women in Africa. Tens of thousands of African grandmothers must raise their grandchildren because their own children died during the AIDS epidemic. So you can help grannies here, help grannies over there. It costs just $15. It's open to players of all ages and levels, and there's fantastic granny baking and prizes. That's here at the Lantern. It all starts at 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Come challenge me to a game, if you dare. Should be a lot of fun. One insurance company says rates won't go down even if it gets what it wants in the current insurance review. Intact Insurance says the best that consumers can hope for is that rates won't rise. Here now's Peter Cowan breaks down the battle.
One of the key issues in this insurance review is how much is your pain and suffering worth? The insurance industry wants to be able to cap the payouts for more minor claims. Everyone agrees that if there's a serious accident and you've got medical bills or can't work, that should be covered. But what if it's just a fender bender and because of that you can't garden or play basketball? Well, the cap would probably be at just a few $1,000s, and the lawyers representing the people injured in accidents, they're against it. For them, a lower payout also equals a smaller paycheck.
Peter, this is what we do every single day, there's no doubt about it. But regardless of whether the cap comes in or does not come in or changes happen with the legislation, I'm still going to be able to practice law, you know? But the innocent victim, who I meet with in this office every day, and they describe to me how these injuries have impacted their life and ability to care for their children, ability to perform best at work, those people will not have an option.
What's missing from this discussion is what's best for these drivers to keep their insurance rates low. Intact Insurance says if they get the cap they're looking for, don't count on a decrease. All they're saying is it'll just prevent your insurance from continuing to go up.
In the short term, I would suggest that the intent would be to stabilize, and then over the more medium term to look for opportunities and avenues to reduce premiums.
So who's going to get their way in all of this? Well, the Public Utilities Board is going to have to weigh all these different sides. Not an easy task. Peter Cowan, CBC News, St. John's.
A teenager and a child are seriously injured after a snowmobile crash in Nain. The accident happened Tuesday night when the snowmobile went off the road and crashed into a building. The 17-year-old girl who was driving was taken to hospital in Happy Valley Goose Bay. The passenger, an 8-year-old girl, was transferred to hospital in St. John's. Police say neither of them were wearing helmets. All right, Ryan joins us. It feels kind of lonely now. I don't think I've ever been here. You know, Debbie arm wrestled me for that assignment. Yeah. Covering Caitlin Osmond.
Lucky her,
anyway,
for sure.
The doctors say it'll be good as new in a month or two. First look at weather.
Mess with the coop.
No, especially for a Caitlin Osmond interview.
Yeah. So we talked about Debbie obviously having to travel down to the Burin Peninsula today, and I'm sure a few folks will be traveling this weekend. Yeah. It's tonight that actually where travel will be impacted the most in terms of a widespread area. Have a look. Let's take a look at this future tracker and kind of give you a general timeline for the weekend. So here's the snow that's been tracking in today to the southwest, just pushing into central Newfoundland as we speak. That'll push in across eastern Newfoundland overnight tonight and through this evening. And by Saturday morning, though, the heaviest snow is now lifted to the north of Newfoundland. We're going to see a pretty quiet start to Saturday. The snow will continue to ramp up for you folks in Labrador, especially along the coast as those onshore winds start to wrap around from the Labrador Sea. Into the afternoon, we're going to be seeing onshore flurries firing up for the west coast, some showers mixed with drizzle across eastern parts of Newfoundland, and temperatures falling for Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening from west to east across the island. We'll have a complete timeline coming up for you in a few minutes. That colder air spilling in on the other side of the system will then wrap right back into Newfoundland through Sunday, and a much cooler and windier day as this low departs. Some very strong winds along the northeast coast. We'll break that down in detail as well, but Sunday's generally a cooler, windier day across the island, brightening up slowly but surely in Labrador as this area of high pressure moves in. Complete timeline details with your full forecast in just a few minutes. Anthony?
Appreciate that, Ryan. Well, he says he's tired of working all the time and that St. John's winters, well, Ryan won't like this, they're just not fit. So the owner of 2 Middle Eastern restaurants in downtown St. John says he wants to leave and that he's selling his businesses. Here Now's Terry Roberts has that story.
Ali Al-Haga came to this province 12 years ago. A fresh start after years in a refugee camp, driven from his home by the war in Iraq. Family members murdered or missing.
I feel like 36 years old now. I feel it like as 80.
He made a life in St. John's and is now the owner of Muhammad Ali's, 2 locations, and it's caught on.
Nobody know about the falafel or shawarma. They had it buy to somewhere, but not like good like I did.
But Ali wants to slow things down, and he never wants to see a snow shovel ever again.
I feel tired. I need to relax. Skip off from cold weather.
He's offering his restaurants up for sale, and if that doesn't pan out, he has other family members who are willing to carry on the business. So what's driving this big change? Obvious factors like the slowing economy and his frustration with city rules and regulations. But the main reason is in these pictures. His 7-year-old son.
I have to enjoy life with him too.
Owning a business is all-consuming. Ali will continue to work, but wants less responsibility, and somewhere other than Newfoundland.
Even I'm not working, my mind is working. It is stress.
So where's he going to go? He has no idea yet, but news about his plans circulated fast on Friday.
I'm going to miss you so much.
What's this I hear about you're looking for possibly warmer climates?
Yes.
So hopefully whoever, assumes the business from here will continue this kind of institution.
Despite wanting to leave, Ali says he loves Newfoundland. The proof is right there, on top of his head. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Imagine being trapped in your vehicle, you've got no food, no cell phone service, and you have no way of knowing if anybody's coming to help you out. Well, that's exactly what happened to an 87-year-old man from Port-au-Port last week. Stan Lafitte lost control of his car on the TCH, and it toppled over an embankment and landed in a ravine. He then spent more than 40 hours trapped inside the car waiting for help. Well, eventually, a helicopter spotted Lafitte near Codroy Pond, and although his car is likely a write-off, he feels lucky to be walking away with little more than a sore back. While there are certain labor negotiations going on, there is concern in Labrador City about the possibility that the 3-week-long strike at IOC may drag on for quite some time. Here Now's Jacob Barker spoke with some local organizations about how they will support the workers.
There are no more paychecks coming for these workers while the strike persists. They'll rely on $350 a week strike pay, mortgages, car payments, bills. If no agreement is reached this weekend, making those payments is about to get a lot harder. The community is bracing for what could be a rise in basic needs.
The auxiliary businesses will begin to lay off, and that's already began, and then there's businesses that serve those businesses, and they begin to lay off because the business just isn't here. It's, as IOC goes, that is how Labrador City goes.
Granola bars, snacks.
The work stoppage could have a ripple effect. The local food bank expects to see a rise in need if the strike keeps going. This food from a recent food drive for Lent helped replenish the food bank's shelves.
We encourage people to keep giving on a regular basis, but projects like this help us over a large hump, and hopefully now with the strike on, it will carry us for a while.
And while it is a break from work, it may not be a pleasant thing to go through. Smoky Mountain, the local ski hill, wants to give people a break from the stress of the strike.
We've asked our members and guests that we wouldn't discuss the work stoppage at the hill, that we'll enjoy skiing and we'll talk about skiing, and that's been pretty well received.
A healthy option to get out and be active instead of shutting in.
Depending on how the weather is and how this thing progresses, we'll probably try to open the hill a little bit, to keep people moving and keep people's minds off of the strike all the time.
People here are hoping this weekend's sit-down leads to a deal and people can get back to work. Jacob Barker, CBC News, Labrador.
That is a live shot of the Ice Crystal Figure Skating Club doing their thing inside the Caitlin Osmond Arena in Marystown. It is the place to be in Newfoundland, and Debbie Cooper is going to take you there right after the break.
And welcome back to the Caitlin Osmond Arena here in Marystown. And just look who I have found. These are members of the Ice Crystal Figure Skating Club, and they are rehearsing right now for their very big finale tomorrow, the end of the season, but they're going to have Caitlin Osmond skating with them. So first of all, what's your name?
Chloe.
Chloe, I'm afraid to step on the ice, because I'm not on skates like you, but let's try it this way. So Chloe, how excited are you for Caitlin to be coming in your show tomorrow?
Really, really excited.
Yeah. Have you been practicing anything special?
Yeah, we've been doing the finale, and we're gonna kind of do a tribute for her.
Excellent, excellent. And what's your name?
Haley.
Haley? And what is it that makes you so excited to see Caitlin in person?
Because she won Worlds, and not a lot of people get this chance.
And she's worked very, very hard to get Worlds and her Olympic medals. What do you admire about what she's done?
I like how she uses facial expressions.
I'm sorry, the music here, I couldn't hear you. Just say again?
I like how she uses her facial expressions.
And she certainly does that with that gorgeous big smile. What's your name?
Anna.
Anna. And do you think that for somebody like yourself, you're here where Caitlin began her figure skating. Does that make you think that you can do a lot of special things in figure skating?
Yeah.
Yeah? In what way?
Well,
are there things that you practice because you look at what Caitlin does?
yeah, I like to practice loop to try and get it as good as hers.
And Caitlin is pretty good at everything, isn't she? Why don't you come around and squeeze together here a little bit more so we can see you on the TV? And what's your name?
Sophie.
Sophie, how excited are you about this, to meet Caitlin?
Really excited. I'm really inspired by her, and I look up to her, and I hope that I'm as good as her one day.
I suppose you watched her performances during the Olympics and the Worlds, did you? What did you think?
Pardon?
What did you think when she won?
I was really happy for her, and it makes me happy and stuff.
It makes a lot of people happy. I'm just going to scoot.
Logan Brulette, Mark Cross.
Coming up, standing strong with those who lost people and loved ones in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. get to the weather in just a second. Of course, the Stanley Cup playoffs are on. Your Leafs kind of played last night. But you were out last night as well, right?
That's right.
What were you up to?
I was playing hockey, and it was a great game that happens every year. It's the Media All-Stars versus the Newfoundland and Labrador Police Curling Association. Right. And have a look.
Okay, Fred, halfway through the first period, and we're already -1.
Can you smell French fries? Because every time I come here and play, I want to have French fries. I don't want to play.
Right, you just want to eat French fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what we need to do to turn that -1 into a +1, is imagine there's French fries down in the offensive zone.
Are there French fries after if we win?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'm in.
All right, let's go. Okay.
Hey, Snoddon, you were out there for 28 seconds. It's like you just ran the Telly 10.
It's true, but
you're breathing pretty hard there.
I'm working out a little less now these days with 2 toddlers at home, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm out of shape. I'm really out of shape. So 28 seconds out there and another goal against. So we're -2 now, and that's on YouTube, Fred.
We were a collective, I think, -5 on the night.
Right.
Yeah, so we've had better showings. Fred and I on the same line. And of course, this was all for a great cause. There's Big Brothers and Big Sisters getting a check donation there for $1,000. This is Tourette's Canada. Stella's Circle also, and Just Us program also received donations, and there was a tribute, obviously, to the Humboldt victims at the start of the game. So it was
great event.
It was a really great event, and happy to participate again this year.
Great event. So Fred Hutton, the host of the St. John's Morning Show, he gets the fries, and you're the guy out of breath.
That's right.
I don't quite get that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's on the radio now, so he can
have what he wants.
That's right.
I remember those days. I miss the radio diet.
So as we segue to the weather here, they're telling us we're tight, so we better get on it.
Right.
And there's lots of weather to talk about. Blizzard warnings, Anthony.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's mid-April in Labrador, and we talked about that coast of Labrador and how difficult it is to get up there even this time of year. Blizzard warnings, Nain, Makkovik, Hopedale, special weather statements for Rigolette, Cartwright, and also down towards the Marys Harbour region. We have Wreckhouse under a wind warning for this evening, and the winds are already ramping up there as we speak. This is the live, at least recent webcam shot from Port aux Basques, and you can see it's snowing there, winds picking up. Wreckhouse sustained at 76 kilometers per hour right now, and you can see where the winds are picking up as that snow is tracking in as well. Wreckhouse gusting just shy of 100 right now and could approach that 100 to 120 range over the next couple of hours. The snow now pushing up towards central parts of Newfoundland and starting to push onto the Avalon. We'll start to see those flakes coming down in Metro through the mid-evening time period, perhaps a little bit earlier. And as we take a look off to the west, our next weather system gathering steam out just over the plains of the U.S. right now. That'll be a mid-week system for us as it takes its time getting into this neck of the woods. Have your look at your timeline here. Pretty good, Forecast Model doing a pretty good job with the progression of this. The snow will track in, as I said, through the mid-evening time frame for St. John's, and that snow will then move off to the north through the overnight hours and into the early morning hours of Saturday. It's actually a pretty quiet start. Temperature-wise, here's what I'm thinking, around the freezing mark for most of us as winds become west-southwest. On the island, that is. In Labrador, temperatures will range from -2 in the Straits to -12 in Nain and -15 in Labrador City. Again, looking at a solid 5 to 10 centimeters for most of us, 10 to 15 centimeters for most of us in Labrador, that is, and across the island just 2 to 5 centimeters. Where we'll see more is along the coast of Labrador as that snow will continue through the day on Saturday. More than 20 centimeters possible for Nain, Makkovik down through the Hopedale region. And we're talking about the onshore flurries for the west coast. And note as the winds shift back to westerly, temperatures falling, -6 by the end of the day in Corner Brook, but St. John's will be in the +4 range, and maybe even a little bit of sunshine breaking through with a chance of seeing some afternoon drizzle and flurry action in there as winds will be from the southwest and then shift to northwest late day here, but most of the afternoon we'll enjoy plus side temps. Not so much on the west coast. As those winds become northwesterly, we are going to be seeing temperatures dropping into the -5 range into the afternoon for the western half of the island. Grand Falls, Windsor rather, Gander into Clarenville, temperatures will fall to the freezing mark through the afternoon. For southeastern parts of Labrador, temperatures will get around -4 to -6 in terms of highs, and then fall into the afternoon. Looking at minus double digits for you folks in western Labrador. Wind will be the big story for Sunday. These are kilometers per hour, and you can see Sunday is going to be a very windy one, 80 to 100 kilometers per hour along the northeast coast. Even some gusty winds along the west coast with onshore flurries for the west and northeast. Labrador will slowly but surely clear out as we roll into the Sunday time period, but certainly some lingering flurries there. We'll have a look at your Monday, Tuesday, and beyond details coming up.
Many people who sported jerseys in memory of those lost in the Humboldt bus crash attended vigils last night. On the Northeast Avalon, scores of minor hockey players gathered in Mount Pearl, while in Happy Valley Goose Bay, people came together at the E.J. Broomfield Arena.
And for many people, this tragedy has left them in a sense of hopelessness. But tonight we have light. We have hope. I want to invite you to join me in a moment of silence where we honor the lives of those who have been taken. We support those who are still battling, and we come together to show hope to all affected by this tragedy. Let's join in a moment of silence.
To the 16 people from the Humboldt Broncos that passed away in the accident: Tyler Bieber, Logan Brulette, Mark Cross, Glenn Dirksen, Darcy Hogan, Adam Herold.
Why have so many responded this way? Why are you standing the cold wearing your team colors of Broncos green? Why have these folk with me here taken the time to organize such a vigil so far from Humboldt, Saskatchewan? As a person of faith, and I want you to know I have to be, not just because I'm a minister, but because I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and I have to be a man of faith. I have been often asked, why did God allow such a tragedy to happen? I'm afraid my answer has disappointed a few. More often than not, my answer is, I don't know, and I wonder the same. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised that the only line in heaven that will be longer than the "thanks for inviting me to such a wonderful place" line will be, why did you allow that to happen to me on earth line?
Logan Hunter, Connor Lucan, Jackson Joseph, Logan Schatz, Evan Thompson, Stephen Wack, Jacob Light, Parker Tobin, and Dana Bronze. And just please keep your sticks and lights near.
Stop the train! Stop the train!
Coming up, a musical treat for you, a song from our recent Tasty Tunes event, and we'll tell you how much money you helped us raise for the Community Food Sharing Association. CBC NL recently brought together some of our finest chefs and finest musicians for a great night of music and food. It's called Tasty Tunes. Amanda Malloy is the Senior Communications Officer for CBC Newfoundland and Labrador. So Amanda, just what is Tasty Tunes?
Tasty Tunes is one of the great ways that CBC is part of your community. It's a night of music and food, bringing together local artists, local chefs, all in support of a great cause, being the Community Food Sharing Association. We also had some really great community partners on this initiative as well.
Okay, so part of it was the fundraising component, and maybe you should just let people know, how did we do?
We did phenomenal, so thank you to everybody. We were able to raise almost $7,000 for the Community Food Sharing Association.
That's fantastic. And apart from the fundraising component, there's also some programming that came out of this. It's not just eating, there's also some music to be seen or to be heard. So where can people catch Tasty Tunes, the show?
So if you missed the show, unfortunately you missed the food, but you can hear it on East Coast Music Hour this weekend, Saturday, April 14th. 5:30 p.m. in Newfoundland or 5:05 in most of Labrador.
Okay, so on the radio tomorrow evening, and
Correct.
If you don't catch it on the radio, you can actually see it, right?
Correct. So you can see it online, www.cbc.ca/NL, or you can check it out on our YouTube channel.
Okay, Amanda, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
I was a railroad operator in my early days. It was 1957 or 58, I'd say, when a call came on the crank phone with a message to relay. Southeast winds were baffling down the mountain range. I knew nothing of the winds out there, and I was all alone. I could hardly hear the stranger crackling on the phone. It was Lucky McDougal, the human weather vane. Direct line to the station telling me, stop the train. Stop the train. Stop the train. From going down the track. Rackhouse winds are blowing and they're blowing mighty fast. Stop the train. Stop the train. You don't want to let them pass. Hold them at Riverview and pull back.
The world's women's figure skating champion has come home to Marystown. All right, let's meet our young athlete of the day. This is Claire Trico from Labrador City. Claire is 6 years old and she wears the number 9 jersey for the Polar Bears hockey team.
Nice. She also has fun playing soccer and softball. All great ways to stay active, Claire, and that makes you our young athlete of the day. All right.
Okay, so you mentioned some parts of the province are going to get more snow than perhaps they would like to see.
Yeah, although the coast of Labrador, I think they say keep it coming. Easy to commute, the snowmobile, and they love it up there.
Right.
So even in April, I think. But not everybody loves the snow, and so for those who don't, take some satisfaction in that temperatures as warm as 20 degrees are making their way up as far north as New York City today. 21 the high in the Big Apple today, 28 in Pittsburgh, 26 in St. Louis. And so that is quite an air mass that's rolling northward, 5 in Toronto. And yeah, this air is the system which is doing battle here across the Great Lakes. That is slowly but surely going to make it into our neck of the woods, but not until mid next week. And it's the weather player that we have to deal with through the overnight tonight across the island. And of course, well, through the weekend, but more so in terms of the snow right through Saturday in Labrador. And that's where we have the blizzard warnings in effect for the coast of Labrador, the strong winds and the accumulating snow. That low will continue to roll to the north. We've got very gusty winds wrapping in on the other side of this system. That is going to set up quite a windy Sunday. And you add in the fact that the temperatures are going to be falling on the other side of this system, so Sunday is going to be definitely a chilly day out there. We will see some sun breaks across the island, but do watch for onshore flurries, especially into the afternoon for the northeast coast, the north coast of the island. A few onshore flurries lingering for the west coast of Newfoundland, clearing out bit by bit, and especially into the latter half of the day for you folks in Labrador. By Sunday evening, area of high pressure starting to take over. It's a pretty quiet Monday shaping up, and into the long range, this is where we are talking about that system finally now just pushing into the Maritimes through Tuesday. I think we'll likely see some snow starting to build into western Labrador on Tuesday afternoon, but it looks like that's about as far as it's going to get for you folks. Not really pushing into Happy Valley Goose Bay, and we'll see a messy old mix of snow, ice, and rain potentially moving into Newfoundland for Wednesday and lingering into Thursday. So kind of a mid-week unsettled mess, and that's what we have here. Temperatures will hover around the freezing mark, so I do think snow, ice, freezing rain, and rain potentially all on the menu for that weekend mess there, with some lingering flurries into Thursday. So that's kind of how the next 7 looks to be at this point. Temperatures, again, you can see are not really where they should be for this time of year, especially in Labrador, where, again, some cool temperatures, especially in the west, -7 to even -5 here across into the long range for Labrador West.
All right, as you've been seeing throughout the show, there are a lot of very excited people in the province right now, and that's because of Caitlin Osmond's big homecoming.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's safe to assume that most of the excitement is coming from the Burin Peninsula, which is where Debbie Cooper is this evening. She is in Marystown. Debbie, what's happening down there tomorrow?
Oh, thanks very much, Ryan. Just before I tell you about the day that's ahead tomorrow, I wanted to bring Taylor Plank back in. Taylor, you're 12 years old, skating since you were 2. You're a huge fan of Caitlin Osmond. Just tell me how big.
Super big. I mean, I've looked up to this girl all my life since I was a figure skater. I've known her, I've watched her skate, I've watched her become who she is, and I've watched her on her journey, which is like amazing for me. It's such a big part of me, figure skating. It's amazing.
And you did meet her before?
I have, actually, multiple times, and it's so special and amazing for me to meet her again so I can keep watching her and me progress in skating, which is so lovely.
Taylor Plank, thank you so much for interrupting your rehearsal, and have a wonderful show tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's just about it for us, and you can go on back and join the group, Taylor. Thank you. coming up a little bit later here in the arena, the stands are filling up right now with people who are here to watch a charity hockey game, and Caitlin is going to be dropping the ceremonial puck. That game starts at just after 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow morning there's a motorcade at 9:30 in the morning, followed by autograph opportunities with Caitlin Osmond. Then of course there's the big show at 4 to 6 o'clock. I'm happy to be emceeing, and then Caitlin is back to CBS Sunday morning. So live from Caitlin Osmond Arena here in Marystown, I'm Debbie Cooper. Good night.
All right, Debbie, have a great time emceeing that big event tomorrow. I know that it's going to be great, and good luck. We'll catch up on Monday.
Well, our viewer picture of the day, Anthony. I know Debbie always gets these, so you're...
no pressure. No pressure.
This one from the southwest coast of Newfoundland.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Oh, nice hills.
Nice little community there. We'll let you think on it, and we'll have the answer after the break.
Yeah. Welcome back. Well, it's Friday, and of course that means...
It's time to look at who's celebrating birthdays and anniversaries.
Happy 60th wedding anniversary to Wilson and Audrey Stoyles in Goobies. They celebrated last Saturday. Rachel Pardy's 90th birthday was this past Monday, and she lives in Wild Cove, White Bay. Joe and Ruby Fifield in Valleyfield celebrate their 51st wedding anniversary this Sunday. Congrats. And a happy 60th wedding anniversary to Gordon and Ruby Fifield in Dildo. Happy 51st anniversary yesterday to Harry and Blanche Harris in Fortune. Maureen and Don Daly in Mount Pearl are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary.
Happy 61st anniversary to John and Jean Parsons of Upper Island Cove. Happy 50th anniversary this Sunday to Betty and Carl Power of St. Bernard's. We have Laura and Wally Sutton also celebrating their big 50th this Sunday. Happy 57th wedding anniversary to William and Cecilia Young in St. Bride's. Happy 51st anniversary to Gordon and Sylvia Adams. And happy birthday going out to Lily Nadeau of La Tabatière, Quebec, who celebrated her 95th birthday yesterday.
And happy birthday to Willis Clark, who turned 95 yesterday. A happy anniversary going out to Lloyd and Audrey Thomas in St. Paul's River in Quebec. They celebrate 55 years of marriage on Sunday. A happy 91st birthday yesterday to Teresa Power of St. Joseph's, St. Mary's Bay. Teresa has become known as the Christmas card lady. And a happy 93rd birthday to Catherine Kilfoy. Her big day was yesterday. Catherine's originally from Little Bay and now resides in St. Lawrence. A happy 90th birthday to Minnie Anstey in Deer Lake. Her big day is tomorrow. Marian Templeman, happy 90th birthday, originally from Dunnville, Placentia Bay. She's now in Bonavista. Her big day was on Wednesday.
Happy 52nd anniversary to Leo and Melvina Lawless in Blanc-Sablon, Quebec. They celebrated 52 years of marriage yesterday. Happy 55th anniversary this Sunday to Roy and Jane Marsden from Burgeo. Happy anniversary to Cecil and Marjorie Hoff of Port Albert, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary on Sunday as well. Wishing Jack and Ivy Marsh in Lower Lance Cove, Random Island, a happy anniversary yesterday. Happy 52nd wedding anniversary to Gerald and Sue Guzny in New Harbour. Happy anniversary to Dawn and Nina Bannister of Lethbridge. They'll be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary next Tuesday. And happy 50th wedding anniversary to Freeman and Ann Noseworthy in South River, who will celebrate this Sunday.
Special greetings to Arthur and Hilda George in Port Union, who celebrated their 58th wedding anniversary Wednesday. A happy anniversary to Eric and Jean Head in Meadows, who celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary this Sunday. A happy anniversary to Harold and Clarice Tucker from St. John's Within. They're celebrating their 63rd tomorrow. And a happy 50th wedding anniversary to Reg and Melita Prosser, who will be celebrating with family on Monday in Ottawa. Everett and Florence Allen from Harbour Breton will celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary next Tuesday. And a 61st wedding anniversary greetings to Leona and Freeman Rideout in Seal Cove, Fortune Bay. They celebrated on Tuesday.
Happy 61st anniversary to Norm and Rita Collins of Hare Bay, who celebrated their anniversary on Tuesday as well. Happy 63rd wedding anniversary to Gerald and Edna Hodder from Main Point in Gander Bay. Happy 50th anniversary next Monday to Everett and Matilda Skinner of St. Albans. And a happy 65th anniversary to Annie and Gilbert Vineham living in Botwood. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Jim and Ollie Cleary. They're in Mount Pearl. Their anniversary is today. And happy 55th wedding anniversary to Hubert and Violet Sampson of Peterview, and love those jerseys.
Yeah, I was going to say, Hubert looks as though he was watching the Boston game last night. And his wife is sort of giving up, but there you go. And they got the home jersey and the away jersey.
Absolutely.
And ironically, they're together.
Looking good.
There they are. Looks great. Yeah, your Leafs.
Yeah, let's
more
not,
next week. Next week.
Yeah, let's not bring those up.
Rough
anyway,
start.
Okay, before the break, showed a great viewer picture, and this one
is gorgeous.
Get right to the map, southwest coast, and in the Rose Blanche, at the end of the road there, of course, we'll find Rose Blanche and Harbour Lacou.
The end of the road there.
End of the road there on the southwest coast.
Yep.
Should be a song about that.
You got me going on one now. That is nice, though. That's beautiful, right? The stages, the older buildings, the wharves. Hey, pretty soon that white stuff's going to be gone. Be kayaking, fishing, getting lobster.
Yeah, only like 6 more months.
Don't say that. Listen, have a great weekend. If you have to shovel, send your complaints to ryansnoddon.com.
That's right.
I'll see you on Monday.
Good night, everyone. Have a good weekend.